And welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about the legislature trying to find out what went right and what went wrong with the emergency response after the San Bernardino assault last December. My guest this segment is Freddie Rodriguez, a member of the State Assembly from Chino, and also the chair of the Joint Legislative Committee on Emergency Management. So thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you, Steve.
Let's recap, first of all, what happened. I think it made the news everywhere, I mean, worldwide, but there was two individuals, terrorists really, that went into the San Bernardino Public Health Department and shot up the place and killed 14 and wounded 22.
Yes. Unfortunately, those types of events we're starting to see more frequently. I would hope they would never happen. But my whole part is, what do we learn from this? What do we learn what happened on December 2nd? What can we do better to prepare ourselves in case something else like this would occur again? So just looking at the response to it from all levels, because it was a multi-jurisdictional response from cities and counties, and I want to hear from them. What went well and what went wrong? And
quite often there's a coordination problem between different jurisdictions. I mean, that happens on the natural.
Yeah, if you look at it, just radio communications are on different frequencies, right? Yeah. We just want to make sure everything went well with that. But if not, what can we improve ourselves?
And we should say that for a couple of decades, you were an emergency responder. So
yes, and it goes back to my background in over 30 years as an emergency responder, and I still do it part-time as we speak.
So as we tape this interview, you have set a committee hearing to find out against what lessons can be learned, and that committee hearing is still in the future. So from your standpoint, just looking at the news coverage and from what you've heard, how do you think the response went? Well,
from what I'm hearing from folks, it was very much a textbook classic response to that type of incident. But like I said, I want to see what we learned from it and what can do better to prepare ourselves in case something like this will occur.
I mean, I've heard some stories, for example, that some of the doctors on the scene were sort of delayed at checkpoints. Have you heard that?
Yes, I heard some instances where delayed care and transport of patients to facilities. But with that, again, that's why the whole purpose of having this hearing, to see if those did occur, what we can do better to shorten that response time to make sure that the patients are getting the properly, immediately care for that they need.
Yeah, I've also heard about the ambulances were sort of kept out for a while, and so they had to be so some of the victims had to be transported to ambulances. I know that's going to be part of your discussion.
Yes, to see if once again, if those issues did occur, what we can do better to prevent them from not happening again.
We should say that after a shooting at LAX a couple years ago, your committee held a hearing, fact-finding hearing on this, and actually some legislation came out of it to improve coordination, correct?
Yes, well, a few years back when that TSA officer was killed in the line of duty regarding an active shooter at the airport, lessons learned from that was active shooter training, because we felt that there wasn't enough training and coordination among all the agencies that responded. So it was my bill, I believe it was 1598, an active shooter bill that gets everybody together now to hold trainings and practice what we learned from that.
So do you think quite likely or possibly there could be some legislation coming out of your upcoming hearing?
I think so. If there's a need for it, we'll look at and go that direction. But once again, it's just to gather information and we'll go from there.
It sounds like the one issue that stands out as a possibility would be the interagency coordination.
Yes, I mean, once again, everything seemed to work well, but I just want to make sure it did. And if it didn't, well, we can do better, whether it's the training or also the equipment, but it's also coming up with the plans to better prepare ourselves.
All right. Well, Freddie Rodriguez, thanks for coming by and talking about this subject, and we'll follow with interest your upcoming hearing.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, on My Government on Demand, and also the California channel. I'm Steve Swatt. Have a great day.